The United States of America military has finally concluded an action plan for a contingency military operation or military action in Nigeria. This military contingency action plan was prepared by the United States of America African Command called AFRICOM, under the leadership of the commanding officer, General Dagvin Anderson. That very action plan was subsequently submitted to the Joint Chiefs at the Pentagon all the way in the United States of America for reviews and onward briefing of the President of the United States of America, Mr. Donald J. Trump, who instructed the Department of War to come up with a contingency plan for possible military operations in Nigeria if the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, continues to allow militants and terrorists to maim and take away the precious life of the cherished Christians in the Nigerian community. Mr. Donald J. Trump made that very proclamation after designating Nigeria as a country of particular concern, CPC, according to American Foreign Policy on International Religious Freedom Act. Make una watch that video.
Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands and thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern. That's a legal definition. If the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria. We're going to do things to Nigeria that Nigeria is not going to be happy about and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns are blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible, horrible atrocities. I'm hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. These are cherished people. These are great people. Leave them alone. Warning, the Nigerian government better move fast before it's too late. If they don't, there's going to be hell to pay.
And immediately after that, the Defense Secretary, Mr. Pete Hegseth, swung into action, demanding the African Command to submit an emergency or contingency plan for a possible military action in Nigeria. And indeed, the commanding officer with his team did a very brilliant job by submitting a quick contingency plan, which are in three categories, or what you can call three options, which are classified as light, medium, and heavy. Before we go further into details to explaining these very, three categories of approaches in a possible military operation by the United States of American military in Nigeria, I would want you to take a moment to reflect on this very video of the massacre of Christian communities which took place some time ago in this country, Nigeria, precisely in Owo, in Ondo State.
So you guys might be wondering why I went from a happy girl to this crying baby right here. Well, let's move forward. So how I decided to travel all the way from Lagos to Ondo State, Owo. Apparently I was going for my sister's wedding, but I decided to check the memorial park for the people that were murdered in Owo. And of course, along the road, this was an accident that occurred while I was going. My God, I was really, really scared. I was terrified. God, please, oh. So this is the memorial park that was built for people that were gruesomely murdered inside the church in Owo, sometimes June 2022. I mean, this was one of the most gruesome things I've ever heard in my entire life growing up. I mean, how could people be so mean, wicked, heartless, and callous to go inside a worshiping place? I mean, these guys are inside the church, and Fulani terrorists went to the church and killed these worshippers. I mean, this is me. My sister was asking me if I am strong enough to do this. I told her, don't worry, it's fine, because she knows that I'm a crying baby. So I decided to, speak with one of the security there. I told him that I came to see someone. He asked for the person's name. Of course, I don't know. But immediately I saw one plaque here. I just said, oh, Mrs. Oluchukwu. Of course, I don't know who Mrs. Oluchukwu was. But then I just have to mention somebody's name. I mean, Mrs. Oluchukwu, so rest in perfect peace. And here we are. This is one of the saddest moments of my life. mean, these are people that were gruesomely murdered inside the church premises by Fulani terrorists. This is so insane. I mean, I can't wrap my head around the whole fact that all of this party here represent people that were murdered. I mean, I couldn't hold my tears. I could not hold my tears. I was already feeling devastated with what I am seeing. I mean, kids, children, they're among those people.
I couldn't but shed tears and further consoled myself because these persons were once living among us. They are someone's fathers, mothers, parents, uncles, brothers, sisters, nephews, whichever way you want to describe it. But unfortunately, that very grave has become a permanent home for their flesh, which will further decay into the Mother Earth, because certainly their spirit will return back to the Maker. So, according to the relevant information available on the internet space, as was published by the New York Times, the three categories of the contingency plan, as was submitted by the United States of America Military African Command, includes number 1, what they considered as a light approach. The United States of America Military and the Department of State will partner and support the Nigerian military forces in what they called partner-enabled operations, whereby the United States of America may have to support them with some intelligence, but ultimately the Nigerian military will lead the squad in ransacking communities, villages where Boko Haram and other insurgent groups have kidnapped, maimed Nigerians, both Christians and Muslims, and making sure that this combined, partner-enabled operation becomes successful in the end in taking out the insurgent. They called it a light operation or light approach. They, however, also maintain that both the United States of American military, in combination with the Nigerian military forces, may have to conduct this operation without the expertise of the United States of American Agency for International Development, whose office was formerly, I think, in Abuja or in Lagos, but was later shut down when the administration of Donald J. Trump started, when he started cutting the cost of governance, in his administration. And the next category is what they call the medium approach. Under this medium approach, the United States of American military forces will be conducting airstrikes using peculiarly drones, both on the camps, on the vehicles, on the convoys of Boko Haram and other insurgent group. They also maintain that under this very medium, that the United States of American government will be deploying their MQ-9 Reaper as well as MQI Predator. These are some of the sophisticated aircraft which was used by the American military forces during their military campaign in Afghanistan. These, Reapers and Predators can actually be, remotely controlled, and they can hit on target precisely. They can also be used for intelligence gathering, other information gathering and processing before hitting a particular target wherever it may be. Especially the MQ-9 Reaper can actually loiter around, in the atmosphere or on the atmosphere for up to about 27 hours without coming down, loitering around, gathering and processing information. And it can also go as high as 50,000 feet above sea level while loitering around, gathering and processing information before raining airstrikes to the target according to all intelligence gathering. And finally, the last option is what they considered to be heavy. In this very approach, they explained that this option would be for American government or for the American military to move their aircraft carrier down to the Gulf of Guinea to deploy fighters, both short and long-range bombers, in order to effectively conduct a deep airstrikes in the northern part of Nigeria to make sure that the insurgent group, both Boko Haram, ISWAP, and other insurgent, groups and bandits in the northern part of Nigeria are taken out in a timely manner. Well, these are the status of Donald Trump's instruction to the Department of War to raise a contingency military, operational plan in Nigeria, owing to the persecution of Christians which has been going on in Nigeria, in the last 10 to 15 or 20 years. When you begin to look at the options, according to some, retired military professionals and military, experts, Some of them argued that some of the options may not be able to take out Boko Haram or the other insurgent group from the northern part of Nigeria, especially the light and also the medium option. Some of them argue that what will happen in the northern part of Nigeria that can take out Boko Haram is for Donald Trump to be prepared to deploy, in totality, to deploy full aircraft carrier, deploy fighters, deploy enough long-range bombers in the northern part of Nigeria, and start a full-scale military campaign like American, soldiers did in Afghanistan and some other places in the Middle East. That it is only that way that the insurgent group can be perpetually exterminated or eliminated. So according to some of these experts, they argued that this was never in the plan of the security priorities of the United States of America. That as a matter of fact, that the United States of America military is already preparing to move their aircraft carrier from Europe and deploy it to the Caribbean in readiness to wage war against drug cartels, at the Caribbean, precisely also in Venezuela to build up, to buffer the military capacity, in Venezuela. That these were part of the, earlier plans of the United States of American government with respect to security priorities. But everything that Donald Trump has instructed so far about military operation in Nigeria is new to them. So except if Donald Trump is going to abort some of the plans, for example, deployment of a full aircraft carrier down to the Gulf of Guinea, that means Donald Trump has to abort moving their aircraft carrier from Europe down to Caribbean, but this time they have to bring it down to Africa, to the Gulf of Guinea, in readiness to deploy fighters and bombers. So critical assessment of all the three options shows that they individually have their own issues, their own bottleneck. For example, the medium option, which involves deploying MQ-9 Reaper and MQ-1 Predator. It is being argued currently that American soldiers no longer have a nearby military base. That formerly they used to have a base in Agadez, in Niamey, in the neighborhood of Niger, earlier before August. But in August, the American soldiers left that very military base, which is currently being occupied by Russian military forces. So if they have to deploy such aircraft, so they would need to begin to find or look for a nearby military base from which they can deploy those aircraft. And it is being said or recommended that the nearest places where they can make such launch again will be either from Europe, Southern Europe, or launching from Djibouti, where American soldiers currently have a large military base. But overall, everything is still very possible. Why I said it is possible is because the government of Donald J. Trump may not have had it in their plan or in their security priority plan, possibly to strike the Iranian uranium enrichment site. But they had to do that, in order that peace will reign today. You know what I mean? So Donald Trump can as well decide to do whatever he feels that is the best, especially to satisfy his conscience over his love for the Christian communities all over the world. So perhaps that very contingency military operation or military action will begin with Nigeria, because like Donald Trump and other experts have pointed out over time, persecution of Christians is not only happening in Nigeria, but Nigeria remains the country with the largest number of Christian persecutions over the years. The largest number of deaths has been recorded in Nigeria to outweigh what has been recorded in other countries. So, and I believe that is what is giving Donald Trump sleepless night, and on why he wants to engage the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria fiercely in a very tough manner, such that if he does not see any improvement from their military operations and administration to address some of this issue, that there are possibilities that unannounced, that American military forces will get into Nigeria and begin to fish out the Boko Haram and other insurgent group. However, what we cannot tell precisely is which of the options that Donald Trump will likely adopt. I am pretty sure that by now that Donald Trump must have been briefed by the Joint Security Chief at the Pentagon, because that very proposal or that very contingency plan has already been submitted to the Pentagon. So coming days will be interesting. We will begin to look out, in a very careful manner what the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is currently doing, Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He has declared a national emergency on national security training institutions, so which I believe, in my own opinion, may not be enough. It's a step in the right direction, but what happened all these years? Why have we not been doing anything? Is it because Donald Trump is now interested in Nigeria, of which many gullible people are now saying that he's interested in our mineral resources? Who cares about your mineral resources? Who cares about your mineral resources? If American government needs your mineral resources, they will strike a deal with the Nigerian government and begin excavation or whichever way they want to do it. It's not by coming in. Nobody does that. So make one stop all those propaganda one that is spread all around for uninformed, uneducated persons. Your mineral resources that are currently being mined illegally by Nigeria and Nigerians in collaboration with some foreigners. What have we done about it? What has the government of the day done about it? We are still telling stories that illegal mining is responsible for 80% of the insecurity. And here you are accusing the American government of coming to take your mineral resources. Some of them no just get sense. Now waiting they vex me, and that is the reason I'm not angry with any of you, because that is the reason I came to the media to put some of these records straight. We need external forces in situations like this because we have suffered a lot of complacency and complicity of our political office holders. So it is time for action, and I sincerely hope that at the end of the day, that is to say that all things will finally fall in place to the expectations of all Nigerians, especially the youth who are clamoring for a new Nigeria. Well, at this point, I'll allow you guys to be the judge. Don't forget to let me know what you think in the comment section and share this video. Man, another person see. God bless you.